everyone involved in the Oak Island universe is that type of person. You guys, I can tell you're that type of person. You hear a story like this, you latch onto it like a dog, and you're just like, let's go. And yes, it's frustrating. And yes, you want it to be solved tomorrow. And yes, who doesn't want to find a chest of gold? Of course we do. Of course, everyone does. But it doesn't work like that sometimes. These things are hard. And so it's taking what it's taking. And that is, in this case, 10 years.
Right. How does it affect us in changing of the history or getting down to the nitty gritty of the history?
It won't change history. It will explain.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you. That's what I was
it will explain parts of North American history you've never thought about.
See, I can't. The History Channel could not have come up with a better teaser than we just did right here. So I tell you what, stay tuned, folks, because this is going to be a good one. I can't wait.
This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of The Curse of Oak Island. And I have a question for you. Could it be that you are listening to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream?
This is a top pocket find, mate, for sure.
Hey everybody, Jeff here with The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream at JFree906, and back in the chair over there,
Tom Burns, how you doing?
Tom, how you doing?
I know. Put the phone down. We're working. I know.
Time to work, man. You can't be on your phone.
Turn the phone off. We got to go to work here.
Yeah. Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Oh my gosh, yeah, we got quite the crowd already. As always, I'm telling you,
Holy smokes.
Claudia from Michigan. All right, whereabouts in Michigan, if you don't mind? I'm always curious when I see Michigan people. I'm from the UP. I'm a Youper, Eastern Upper Peninsula. About halfway between the bridge and the Sioux, if you know where that is. That's where I'm from initially. All right. Hey, Paula's here. How you doing, Paula? People ask me, why do you spend so much time saying hi to everybody? And it's because I love when people, that's part of what this show is all about. It's because I love to chat with everyone and discuss. I always say when I, not always, but most of the time when we welcome new members into our Facebook group page, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond, I always like, you Jess. I always like to say, I always say welcome and welcome everybody, and glad to have you join the discussion, because that's what this is. And I like to look at my podcast the same way. It's a discussion, and I love to say hi to everybody, and I know I don't get to everyone. We got closing on 100 people here already, and I just don't have the time to I can't get everyone. I'm sorry, but I try. Pat's here, Kat's here, Ray is here, Jeff's in the house, Wade's here. Guys, thank you so much for coming by tonight. TS 1979. All right. Hello.
Tara Lorraine. I'm from New Brunswick, where UNB is located. Yeah, it's been there for since before the money pit was discovered. So it hasn't been moved, folks, contrary to popular belief. And maybe a miscue on somebody's part. UNB is still in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Yes, exactly.
And as we'll find out tonight, St. Mary's University is still in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I know. Regardless of what Robert Clotworthy says. Oh, that was a good faux pas there. Hey, Anderson,
it's a blooper reel stuff. Yep.
Eva, I'm gonna get to see Eva out in Phenomicon, and I can't wait for that. Eva's gonna be there again this year, I think, in September for Phenomicon in Vernal, Utah. And by the way, I've just got there's gonna be a Michigan Paracon. It's MI Paracon. You can find it if you Google MI Paracon. It's in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And it's on August 23rd, 24th, 25th. I think that's right. 23rd, 24th, 25th of August. I reached out to those folks, and I'm going to that one too. So yeah, I got to work that out. But so that is the Paracon. It's mostly paranormal. I think Ronnie LeBlanc will be there. He'll be there for sure. He's listed as one of the people that's going to be presenting. Yes, we are all friends here, Eva. That's very right. That's very correct. William, hey William, and the group that we have in our Discord channel, and the link for our Discord channel is down below in the description of the show, and it's getting more and more fun all the time. I logged in there about 7 o'clock last night. People started popping in. We were talking during the reruns as we went through the reruns, and then we hung around and watched we didn't watch. Everybody watched the show on their own because I'm not allowed to broadcast that, I probably would get in a lot of trouble for that. I don't want to get in trouble, so I didn't do that part. But we said, and during the commercial, then we all talk, oh, what about that? What about this? And I get so much good information from you guys. I really can't thank you enough for how much you contribute. So Escanaba, then or before you come boating. My sister says, quit inviting yourself to everybody's, but you invited me right there. So I do want to come boating with you.
See, Alessandra's with us tonight. Alessandra, stick around in case we got some questions on well construction.
Yes. Alessandra, hello. How are you doing?
Henry's here. Tara's here.
Mm-hmm.
Laura. Oh my goodness.
Cheryl.
Jan, Kat, April, Sharon from Maine, Barbara Duncan.
Todd Berg. Todd didn't quite make it the other night. He tried when we had the show on last Friday night. He kind of had a bad connection there. And actually, I think what happened was half of the area in Escanaba went down. All of them lost internet. Everybody went down. That's a UP thing, I guess. Just everybody lose internet. And so, yeah, he lost it. Several others did too in the area. So,
someone tripped over the plug.
Yeah, Mike O. Let's see. So I really appreciate all you guys coming. It's really, really nice of you to come by, and I will try my best, as always, to get all of your comments and questions and stuff as we go through the show tonight. But I really do appreciate you coming. And if you can, like and subscribe. If you are you have to be signed up with a Google account or a Gmail account or whatever, or a YouTube, which is the same thing, YouTube account, so that you can actually subscribe to the show. And I understand if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Don't bother. Don't, go through all that trouble if you don't want to do that, to subscribe to the show. But if you are already, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like the content of our show, even just a little bit, because it really does help in the overall algorithms with YouTube to get the word out to more and more people. With respect to stone well that they are attempting to drain, my question is, one, is the water fresh water? Yes. A salt water or a mix? I think it was fresh water, but it's not.
It's a freshwater spring.
Yes. Right.
That's why it doesn't freeze in the wintertime. It's got a constant circulation of fresh water coming into it.
There you go. There's your answer. Let's see.
No, Dr. It's not being fed from the ocean or the bay. If it was, it would be salt water. Correct. Or at least brackish.
Yep. Maybe cyber attacks? Oh, talking about the internet going down, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Maine was very warm for February. Oh, yeah. It finally got pretty warm down here. I'm currently in Florida, and it's got really warm down here. And don't forget, coming up in March, I'm going to be going over to Gypsy Jules and is having an event in Kerrville, Texas on March 17th and the 18th. Donna McCauley will be there. Captain Joe Z might be there. I will be there for sure. I'm going to the event, and I'm going to be doing some metal detecting, and I'm going to see what I can find, some of the treasure that she's going to be hiding around, silver coins and some tokens and whatnot. You can win prizes. I've got a whole box full of prizes right back here behind me that Mark Hoover gave me to take to Gypsy's event. So I'll be taking that with me. Oh, and I wanted to show this. My sister sent me this because she knows that I travel around. So she sent me this. The boys, her grandsons made this. Not all those who wander are lost. J.R.R. Tolkien. So there you go. Yes, I wander, but I'm not lost. I know where I am. I know where I'm going. So this is so cool. And I like the dragon on there too. Isn't that really cool?
Yeah, it's like the old joke. It's like the old joke. I'm not lost. Everybody tells me exactly where to go.
I was going to say, I set my GPS in the car. I set it so that a woman's talking to me on it, because that way I'm just used to having a woman telling me where to go. Right. So, I mean, just fits. It feels natural. Yeah. So thank you, Rudine. Thank you very much. I like it. Yeah. I like that a lot. My sister sent me that. So I'm not lost, but I wander. I do. I like to go wherever the wind blows. Something new come up, off I go that way, Right now it's too cold up north, so I'm staying down here. Where it's warm, finally. I went out metal detecting last weekend, Sunday, with Captain Joe Ziga, and honestly, it was kind of a crappy day. We really didn't have very much luck, and the wind was blowing so hard, and it was supposed to be low tide, but yet the wind was blowing right in. It was blowing the waves in, and we didn't get to find. It was drizzly rain, a little cool and stuff, but yeah, didn't really find out. A lot of beer cans. I don't know. I found several beer cans and about 26 cents, I think, something like that. But anyway, hey Robert, how you doing? But yeah, the Discord really is being a lot of fun. We really exchanged a lot of good stuff. And one of the guys last night in there, I think it was Kevin, had said something about, well, this show was I didn't learn anything, but it was still kind of fun. And that's kind of how I felt about it too, overall. We know that not every single episode of The Curse of Oak Island throughout the 24 episode season, if that's how many they're going to have, all of them may not be super great. And this was one of those ones that was kind of
we touched on a lot of things. We didn't
Yep.
get down into the nitty gritty, but we did touch on a lot of things.
right. I thought the highlight of it was Dumas back on the job. For me, that was kind of the highlight. So let's get started, and I will bring up some pictures here, of course, as always. Oh, I gotta switch over. Here we go. All right,
Jack Campbell's in the house, first of all. Hey,
Jack
Jack.
Campbell. Hello, Jack. How are you doing?
I'm keeping your seat warm for you, buddy. Anytime you want to come back.
Yeah, exactly right. Sorry, late. Feeling better. Good deal. That's great to hear. That construction was interesting. Yes, they brought up the top stones. Looking. Yep. We discussed that flat white thing last week. Oh yeah, my coworker thought it was a landing pad for a drone. I bet it could be. You never know. I don't know. They're right next to the well, and I'll show it I got one of the pictures for that again tonight. I'll show that real quick. But all right. So another beautiful aerial shot of Oak Island right there. And then right off the bat, you see the guys heading out, Rick and Doug and Peter and Alex heading over to the money pit. They're all excited about what's getting ready to happen over there. And then they showed a couple shots of the money pit as it was looked when they uncovered it for the first time. And remember, I put that little video out, or actually it was a little short, talking about the money pit then and now. And I thought that was really cool because you have the old grassy season 1, episode 1 money pit. And then you had season 10, the money pit, all the dirt and flat and everything. And then the other one all covered with grass and bushes and trees and stuff. And I thought that little depression in the old one from season 1, I thought that depression was actually the garden shaft, but it wasn't. If you really look at it, once I got really looking at it, it was too far away. I think it might have been the head and shaft. Yeah, I didn't realize that the head and shaft was, had a depression in the ground right there. Hey, Jake Roberts, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. So anyway, so that, Marilyn's here too. Hi, Marilyn. So anyway, yeah, that's here's the picture of when they uncovered it. Dan Hensky took them over and they uncovered it, and that's a picture of it right after they uncovered it. And this wood that was dated, they always thought that was a searcher shaft. And then they had this piece of wood dated that they found down in there, and that wood was dated to as early as 1735. So that's why they're starting to rethink it a little bit.
Yep.
That maybe it wasn't really. And now there's speculation where they're actually saying it's not just Jeff speculating, but they're speculating. Could it actually be the original money pit shaft?
Especially with the results that Dr. Spooner's getting back, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's the science. That's what Marty always says. Show me the science. Show
me the science. Exactly right. So I think that's pretty important. And so, and wouldn't that just frost you after all this time with that being right there? And it could turn out to be the original money pit. Speaking of the money pit, and here was the keys. Go ahead.
When you think about it, everybody else has been looking for it for like 218 years, right? And these guys have nailed it down in 10. So that's pretty good.
In the law of averages, that's pretty darn good right there. That is pretty darn good. And there's the keys to it. And you seen Rick's face when he walked over there to me, that was one of the highlights of the show. Seeing Rick walk over there. Here is the entire crew. You got the Dumas guys there. You got the Choice Drilling guys are standing there. You got all the people there. Fellowship of the Dig standing there. Everybody's there. Rick comes over and he's like, "Wow, hey everybody!" You know, they're all waiting for him to show up. And then this gentleman right here, Roger 14, hands him the keys to the money pit, or of the garden shaft. Sorry, hands him the keys to the garden shaft. And then Rick goes in there. He's all smiles. You can tell. I mean, he's been waiting for this for how long? How long did they?
Yeah.
6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
I
So
think
they get set back for 6 weeks, wasn't it? And then they had to wait another week for the permit to come through. So
exactly.
So 7. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 weeks. So they could get this baby opened up and get back in there, which I thought was awesome. That was awesome. That was, to me, again, that was the highlight of the show. I thought getting back in there. They pulled the lid off, and then, of course, as it did, Gary said, "You just took the lid off of the treasure," or something like the treasure chest, something like that. So, but cool to see. Glad they're back. That was awesome. And there's all the people standing around looking down in there. Yeah, best part.
Good thing Marty wasn't there. He would have told him to get back to work. Don't you guys have someplace to be?
Yeah, he's always the one that breaks up the meeting in the war room.
Yep.
All right, you got things to do. Let's get back to work. I think Craig took that line from him when they were all standing at their interpretive center out on the deck. That was pretty funny. But here you got Paul Troutman and Ian Spooner. They're walking over, and they are getting ready to take a water sample. Let's see this one. And I was trying to get a picture. They didn't actually say. I think it was CN10.
CN11. If you look at the little white bottle that they had, it had CN11 written on the side of it.
Great. I was wondering. I was trying to see it, and I couldn't see which one it was. I'm glad you caught that. So
I zoomed in on it today. I said, "Wonder which one they're at." And it was CN11.
Yeah, CN11 right there. All right. Yeah. So they went and they got a water sample. They believe that the source of the gold in the blob they believe is about a depth of 80 to 120 feet. Ian will be using a single valve baler to collect the samples from the blob area and then help them, narrow down, pinpointing where the gold is and stuff in the water. So that's what they were doing there. And then right after that, they quickly run over to lot number 5, where Peter and Gary are going over there to dig up some more targets, which, again, I go back to that when he was there with Rick and they dug up, a couple targets there. And then they started, it became a archaeologist excavation going on. There were still all those targets that needed to be done. So get back to them. What are you doing?
They found a lot of targets over there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Rick getting the keys was an excellent event, which only could be matched when Rick does get ready to go down into the shaft. And I have a picture of that at the end. I'll show you guys. Hang around at the end and I'll show you.
He's got the harness on next week. So.
Yeah. I grabbed a couple from that. Yep. Science has made the difference, don't you think? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gold couldn't be found in the water last season, but now it can. Yeah. I think you got a misspelling there, but yes, the gold. Exactly. Exactly right, Christy. I'm going to try to do my best to pay attention to the chat tonight. I know I hate missing it for you guys.
I try to do it too, but I don't know how you do it. too many screens going on here.
So anyway, here they go over and they start, of course, lot number 5. I don't know if that red dot, they always put the red dot and it's in a different place every time. I don't know if that's
well, if you look at the background, it looks like they're down next to the shore.
Oh, there you go. Then maybe it is correct.
I was wondering that last night too. I think they try and move the dot around to roughly where they're working.
Let's see. I just got a text message. I'm looking at my phone during the show. I'm working.
Put your phone away. Put your phone away.
How do I log into the chat part of your show tonight? You log into YouTube. That's my sister. She's probably not here, but that's how you do it. You log into YouTube. So yeah, there they are. So what do they find right off the bat? They find a button. They saw the circle, and Gary was getting really hopeful that it was a coin. But these buttons are still pretty cool.
They can tell you a lot. I mean, like you said, if they can nail it down to the manufacturer, location, the unit of the Army or Navy or whoever was there, or just a plain old manufacturer, right? It's going to tell you, it's going to give you some history if there's some markings on it.
Yep, exactly right. Oh,
Yep.
okay. She's watching now, I guess.
Mhm.
Well, say hi to everybody. I was showing my sister. I was showing the sign that you sent me. I finally remembered to show it to everybody. Anyway, all right. Get back to business. All right. So yeah, so they found the button. Then they found this little piece right here.
Mm. At the top of that piece, is that some sort of an indentation or a mark there?
I know, right? I don't
See
know.
the circular section at the top? I tried to
Yes.
blow it up today, and I did a little bit, but whether there's any markings in that or if it's just coincidental from, whatever it was part of, but there's definitely a dent there of some sort. It's not
Yeah, and I
rusted
don't
away. It's
know.
not rusted. It's in there for a reason.
Yeah, and it is, and it's a circle. And
Yep.
I sent that over to Jess, and I'm gonna have to see if I can find. She sent me back some pictures. Oh boy, you know what? And I didn't bring them over. One of them, and I'll see if I can get it for you guys real quick here in a minute. But Jess did some highlighting of it, and she was actually looking at this area
I was
here.
looking at that too. Yeah.
There's actually like an X or something there. And again, folks, we don't know if this is just because of the deterioration of the iron over years of being in the ground or what, and it's just making these little marks. And of course, this picture isn't very clear. As you can see, it's kind of blurry. But there are some markings here. And
I was looking for the British broadhead to see if
yes.
it had
Yeah.
any British markings on it.
Yep. That would have been pretty cool.
Mm.
Jess, there was and I'm going to have to ask you if you'll send it to me in Facebook Messenger, Jess, if you could do that. And it's the one that you sent that had the almost yes, that one right there, the one that's original picture almost. That looks really golden, dark golden color. If you could send that to my Facebook Messenger, that would be easier for me to pull it up on the show. I know I'm asking a lot, but thanks. My bad. She said, no, I'm not your bad. But I'll bring that up if she can get that over to me again. But yeah, so I was doing the same thing. There was a picture on the back of it, and this is it here. Not a picture, but I grabbed this picture of the back of it, trying to see the same thing. Was there any kind of a marking on the back of it? A triangle. Yeah, maybe. That's what I thought, a piece of cast iron stove or something like that, Jan. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking it was a piece of a pot metal of some sort. I don't know. But right off the bat, Gary went to the scythe. Remember the scythe blade, the pieces that they had from the broken scythe that they had last week. And he was attributed to the same kind of piece of metal that was from that. And maybe this was a piece of the actual blade. Corrosion. Yeah, it's a worn
Erosion
pattern.
from dripping water to the other part. Yeah, you'd have to be under dripping water for a long time to take the metal out, but
Yeah,
and it was found in the ground, so I mean anything's possible, right?
Oh,
I mean, I'm not a metal expert, that's for sure.
Neither am I. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Let me download this one. This is where Jess took and tried to do her best to highlight these. There you go, right there. Now that is a little bit better, but again, I don't know. We might just be seeing matrixing here. It's really nothing. But there's something going on right here and something going on right here. And then that circle is just what's weird. You don't usually get a circle pattern like that. But anyway, cool stuff. And I really appreciate Jess, you sending those over. She went through and sent all kinds of different pictures here too. Here's another one in a more different hue. Anyway, cool stuff.
Almost looks like a head when you hold it up that way.
Yeah.
Profile of a head.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. So we don't know, but
No.
Again, it would be one of those things that would be good to have Carmen look at
Get Carmen to look at it and get them to take it to the lab and get the metal composition of it too.
Yes, exactly right. You're exactly right. And then after that, they jump over to over to lot 26 at where the well is,
Mm-hmm.
and they begin to pump it out. This picture here is where they've got it pretty well pumped out, and Jack's in there. You got Helen and Laird and Jack. Carmen dating. Yes, Christy, that's right. Carmen dating. I love that. That's a great great little word there to use. Carmen dating. And you get a better look at the structure of these rocks, and it's not a very deep well. I mean, it could have been deeper at one point when they were able to actually.
Yeah, based on the post hole diggers that Jack was using there,
Mhm,
I'm going to say he's probably down around between 4 and 5 feet.
mhm.
Now, depending on where you are, like at our family's camp, we have a hand dug well for gravity fed water, and it's not much deeper than that. Might be a little bigger around, but you dig it down till you get to the spring, and then there's no need to dig it in, depending on the purpose, right? So he's still down there a fair ways.
Yep.
It's definitely not as deep as the one in New Ross, I can tell you that.
I've not. Yeah, that one. I haven't. I mean, I've seen it on pictures, but you actually were there, weren't you?
I was there with Alessandra Henry. Yeah, we took the lid off and had a look in it, and yeah, it's a real bona fide full size,
Deep well.
serving a whole property size well. Yeah, I'm not sure the
20.
exact depth, but it must be closing in on 20 feet.
Yeah.
At least what we could see. Yeah.
Right. And there may be sediment at the bottom of it that's kind of filled it up a little bit too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Donna McCauley's here. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Donna's going to be at that event out there in March in Kerrville, Texas. We're looking forward to meeting you,
Gypsy's watching as well. Hey, Gypsy.
All right. Hey, Gypsy. Yeah, Gypsy's going to be there too. Of course, it's her event. But yeah, so check that out. If you Gypsy's got her Facebook page, it's on there. It's called Zero Discrimination, and that's what I've been using on my Garrett Ace Apex. I've been using Zero Discrimination on it, so I'm trying to learn. Finding lots of nails and quarters and dimes and nickels. So yeah, but you can see the rock makeup of this thing. So it's definitely a nice and when they dated this thing to be made in around 1100 time frame. This particular well, 900-year-old well is what they're calling it, that tested positive for silver. So the group is going to pump it out and then take the debris that's in the bottom of it. Yeah, I think Colin did say that, Jim. Yeah, he was talking about his being very shallow.
Inside of that well, the rock structure, the rock features. Somebody was mentioning about the flat rocks in one section and the sort of the beach rounded rocks in another section, like it was built in layers almost.
Yep. Yeah, you can see the flat ones down here.
Yeah, and at the top when you're around beach rocks in the middle.
Yep. Kind of build it up a little bit.
But you have to leave a certain amount of space between your rocks, for the spring water to come in, right?
Yes. Yep, that's how it does.
And that's where the sediment comes from, is between those cracks in the rocks, and it goes into the bottom of the well. And you have to, every couple of years, get down in there with a bucket and scoop it out.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's not that deep to be able to get in there in that respect. So then you've got the dating of the stone road and the stone platform in the swamp comes out to be about the same time period as the well, which I thought was really interesting. So somewhere in that 1100, 1200 time frame. So whoever that goes to me telling me that whoever created the stone road and the stone platform in the swamp probably are the ones who created the well. Makes sense? Is that for sure? No, but it does make sense.
Yep.
That it very well could be.
Yeah, I'd like to see how that well at the top of the eye of the swamp is constructed to compare them. It goes into the bottom of the well, and you have to every couple of. I'd like to see how that well.
That was me. I was my Facebook froze and I restarted it and I had to hit mute real quick. So that was me.
Okay.
You were talking over again.
I was talking over me.
Yeah. So interesting though that well. It's still a really cool piece there that and that we haven't got to the wall yet. Remember how Maddie Blake talked about the wall that was over by the well, and I'm really looking forward to them getting into that as time goes on here. Okay. All right, I just saw Linda's message. Okay. There goes the guy that goes by here 4 times a day in that truck. It's so loud. And this piece of wood dated about the same. This was that piece of railing that they found, and that it also dates about the same time frame, 1100s, 1100, 1200. Same thing. They were bucketing out all that stuff of sediment on the bottom of it and putting it on this tarp over here so that they could then take it over and go through it and see what kind of artifacts they could find. I agree, Tom. I would love to have them compare the swamp eye. Oh, gone already. The swamp eye and this one in the carbon dating and the construction. And somebody else brought this up in Discord last night too, or today, I think actually. And I'm not exactly sure who it was, but also made a comment about that, saying that the eye, if you look at the way that they constructed this thing, the eye of the swamp, and at the top of the triangle, and then you kind of look at the way this little pond right here. It almost, not completely a triangle, but the well at the top of it almost looks like a miniature version of the swamp.
Yeah, we actually spoke about that a couple weeks ago, that there's a similarity there with the marsh and everything else, and the muck and everything else.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, like a miniature version of the swamp with the eye at the top. So kind of cool. So anyway, so they got that thing all pumped out. We'll see what else they find. They did find a nail, but we'll be getting to that here in just a couple minutes. And then they jump over to the interpretive center, and this is where Helen and Emma are working. They made up a little, screening thing there to go through the spoils and see what they could find. And then that's when they find this little piece of. They're calling it a nail.
I thought it was a nail when I first saw it. I thought it was a square nail.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But
yeah, it's kind of rounded on the one end. It's like they took it to round on one end. And would that, it doesn't look to me, I don't know. It doesn't really look to me like it had been pounded in. I didn't think this was a nail, but I could be wrong, obviously, but it is bent on the end. And like, I think it was Doug was standing there, and they talked about when you drive it through planking and then you bend it over on the end to keep it from backing out. But what would keep, if you don't have a head on it, what would keep it from going the other way?
Goodness knows.
I don't know. That's why I was skeptical that this was a nail. But then what do I know? I'm not. Oh, it was Ape Chef. Okay, Ape Chef is the one who brought that up today. Thank you, Christy. Appreciate that. A blacksmith friend thought it was a hook to hang clothing on for a hat. Okay. I just didn't think it was a nail. I'm still fiddling with that whole idea that it was a nail. They called over Ian and Rick. They come over to get a look at it. And that's when Ian said, well, that's when he brought up, couldn't it be a nail that they bent over on the end? But one of the pictures, and this one right here, I grabbed.
Yep.
And if you look at it right there, again, I just have a hard time seeing that as a nail. I wish Carmen could take a look at this thing, or we'd hear Carmen take, after he looks at it. And you see that little indentation in the end of it right here? Again, does it matter if it's not a nail? No, it really doesn't. It's a piece of wrought iron, and they need to date it and find out, and they did. So
the date's what counts. Yeah.
That date is what counts. It really doesn't matter what it truly was.
For sure.
Yep. I'm hanging up on that. I know, and I shouldn't be. So we'll get to find out. So they jump over to the war room next. And this is where they bring in this gentleman here in the pink sweater. Now, all the guys are in. You got Craig and Rick and everybody. This is Brian Pharoah, author and researcher. Now, Brian has taken, and we've had others done this. We know that Erin Helton did this. I think her last name has changed now. It used to be Erin Helton. But Erin took a look at it. She was talking about this, and she also had the little deal where she took the cross, and you do these lines and everything. But she was also talking about the cross in Nolan's cross and working from there. and trying to put something together for it. Aaron King, thank you. And so he does the same thing. So he's working Nolan's cross, trying to put together a theory. Let's walk through this real quick. So he was talking about Nolan's cross and a megalithic and mathematical phenomena created by design, as Fred Nolan believed, and cannot be by happenstance. I've said that so many times during the show.
Yeah.
That it was not made simply to be making something like that and then say, great, what are we going to do now? It obviously means something. And I still stand by that. I think it means something.
Yep.
Whether or not Brian Pharoah is correct in what he thought, I don't know. But he did talk about these hidden mathematics, these sacred numbers, geometry, and he called it sacred knowledge. And Tom had you had a really good
yeah. So when I look at those numbers, and he was talking about how they relate to maybe the construction of buildings or churches or things like that. My father was a carpenter, and so I did learn a few things about standardization of numbers. And if you take any one of those numbers, if you know anything about building or construction, and we've been using, to back up, we've been using inches and feet for since the 1100s.
Right.
Those are all divisible by 12 inches for a foot, 16 inches for a center. Some people use 18 inches for a center. Some people use 24 inches, 36 inches, 48 inches. Those are all standard dimensional numbers. So, to say that they're sacred numbers, yeah, they're sacred to a carpenter or someone who builds something, for sure.
Yes. Yep.
If you were told to build something of a particular size and you weren't even told what the purpose was, you're going to use the numbers and dimensions that you were told to build it with. And if those are standard construction building numbers, whether you're building a building or a cross, and your boss is going to come over in 6 months to a year and inspect it, you're going to use numbers that both you and your boss are familiar with.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And done the same thing. You build you put up a building, you got 16 on center for your studs in the wall, 12 inches, of course, is a standard. And all these numbers are divisible by 16 and 12. So it's a standard thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. And the other thing too, just when you get to the directional lines, we'll talk about that. But
so he took it, and then they talked about the geometry and and all that kind of stuff. They showed this picture here, and then of course the sacred sites and all that. We all know
that's what got me to thinking about the standardization of construction.
Yeah. Rosslyn Chapel. Of course, you notice he used all these things that have to do with the Templars.
Well,
I thought that was
the inches and foot came in at around 1100. So,
yep.
Templars were kicking around till at least the 1300s.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's not out of the question.
Yep. So he took the cross arm of the cross, 720 feet, that being one of the, and again, you remember, go back to these numbers, 720, 432, 360, 864. So you got 720 across the arms of the cross. You divide that in half, you got 360. And he said 864 from the top down to the very bottom, to cone, all the way down to cone E. He said almost 144 here. And then 800 or 432 there from that section, from here in the middle down to this point, which is where another stone was. And then another 288 down to there. All these numbers were the numbers that he was calling sacred numbers. Then you take a cross arm, and this creates a square, 720 by 720. And 2880, again, is another number that is divisible by 12 and 16, but
strictly a function of the numbers.
Exactly. It's a function of adding the numbers together.
Yeah.
That come to that conclusion.
And anybody that builds under standard construction will tell you how those numbers are a benefit to when you do a construction, and you want them to work out that way.
Yep. And then, of course, a circle inside there. And again, those numbers are all going to keep coming up because you're working with the outside dimensions of those.
Yep.
arbitrary numbers in itself. And then he put the circle around it. If he got down here, and he was saying that if you take the center of the this here, which would put it right about where right in this area here. Well, they take the top and you come around here, but then he was starting to work from here. You take these lines and you start working these lines. Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to take away from Brian Pharoah's numbers and what he came across here, because this is really pretty interesting. But it almost seems like, and I had a few other people kind of mention this too, that it could also be done backwards. You could go from a point and go backwards to it, and you can come up with the same conclusions. You backtrack from the starting point. If you took a starting point here and you backtracked, you could find a way to make the numbers all fit.
And yet,
Oh, you froze, or me, one of the two of. I hope it's not me. I think Tom froze there. Maybe it's me. Am I frozen? Somebody let me know. If you can hear me, let me know. Tom, was I frozen or were you frozen?
we were both kind of spinning in Neverland there for a second.
Okay. All right. You started to say something.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So in all fairness to Mr. Pharoah, he probably presented this thing in advance of showing up for filming.
Mhm.
During filming, he was probably sitting in front of these guys for hours and hours and hours, and we don't get to see all the background where he came up with his conclusions as to where he's going to draw these lines. We just see
Correct.
the lines as they're drawn, right? So in all fairness to him, this is what we get to see,
Right.
and goodness knows how he came up with the other dimensions or marking points.
Yeah, pinpoint location from the surveyor's class of things.
Yep.
And how to pinpoint. Yep.
Yep.
So he came to the conclusion that this X marks the spot, and by coming across his lines, he was showing that 4 different sets of lines, come to the same point, and of course that point happens to be right where they're calling the edge of the blob right now in the money.
Just to answer the question that's on the screen,
Mhm.
yes, inches and feet were standard forms of measurement since the 1100s. The actual English government standardized them as a form of measurement back around 1100.
Mm-hmm.
And they were used right up until the metric system was introduced. So,
right.
And that was long after that. So,
yeah. Now, the one thing that we were kind of talking about, or that kind of hit me, and I think we brought this up a little bit in the Discord last night, was, oh, thanks, Stan. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Yeah, the big circle kind of confused me too. I know how he came about it by taking the very top, and calling that the center of the circle, and then creating this circle around from here to here, 7, it wasn't, it was 820 feet from the top here down here, and then you extend that. So call that the center. There's your circle, and then you can work from there.
Yeah, and that's again, in all fairness to Mr. Pharoah, we don't know why he chose that top point to draw the circle from.
No,
he could have chosen any one of those points to draw that circle from, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So what in his mathematics or symbology told him to use that top rock?
Right.
That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you took this, and then what we were talking about too, was if you took this right here and you just moved that circle around, you would come to a point that was out over the water. Where would it point to if it was looking back in the swamp, maybe? Or would it point to the hatch on Zena's map if you spun it around a little bit and looked at it in different angles? You took these angles and you went off this direction with them over here.
Yep. Yep.
We
don't know
again,
what made
we don't
him
know.
Use that quadrant, and there could be a very logical reason for it too. So I'm not gonna
Right.
I'm not gonna diss the guy, right? I just don't understand, how we got to that point.
And like you said, that's the part of not having that, to work from.
Guess we'll have to buy the book. We'll have to buy the book.
Yeah. So, but again, he came to the conclusion that was the that the money pit, it was pointing right here to where they are now looking. Now it all kind of fits together because, and it fits the narrative. And then again, they asked him about, well, who do you think? And he said Templars. So, the Templars could very well have, because as Tom said, when was the dating, or when was the foot, or those measurements,
Standard English measurements. Yep.
right. And it all started about the same time the Templars did. So,
it's very possible.
Could it go back? It fits the narrative that they're going after right now. So,
and it does fit, the things that, people like Jake and Aaron and all those other people have done previously. Yeah. Right. So it is, I guess, a form of verification.
Yeah. Jake Roberts, he was going from the, a map, and I was at the, I was going to say the 1611 map. Was that I forget the date on it now for the life of me, but when Jake did his numbers, and he came out to basically the same exact point, with Jake's theory. And we went through that pretty heavily during the show when we had Jake on, and we were looking at that, and pretty much the same point.
And I see Tara says, draw a circle from each of the Nolan cross rocks, right? But what tells us to draw a circle that's 720 feet in diameter?
Right.
Should it be 144 feet in diameter? Should it be 360?
Right. We don't know.
That's the background information you don't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And he has studied the cross a lot, from what I've been told. So, when you study something for so long, and many of you guys that are researchers in this type of thing, you know this, and Jake Roberts obviously does, and Jim McQuiston. When you research something over, for a long period of time, you start to find patterns, and that's the part we don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is interesting that
without a doubt,
conclusions brought it right there.
Without a doubt, it's interesting.
Oh, absolutely, it's interesting. And it fits right in exactly with where they're at right now with this whole thing, pointing right to the spot that they're looking for. Los Angeles. All right, Susan. I still have a protractor. I will be interesting to why from different points. Yeah. To try from different points. Yep. My head hurts.
But then you're guessing, right? But then it boils down to you're guessing, right? You're not using some form of instruction. If it's supposed to be some passed down instruction or level of knowledge, then if I do it, I'm just guessing because I don't understand the knowledge that was passed down, right? It's just a guess.
Right. Yep.
Now you're fishing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to have to get Mr. Roberts back on here to cover what he was talking about there with his getting and pointing at, so we can get a refresher on it, or go back and watch that episode when he was on. We could do that too. Lots of 72-foot pieces of rope to measure back then. Deidre. Hey, Deidre, what's going on? Oh, yeah, 1611. I thought it was the King James Bible map version map of Jerusalem. Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was 1611. I thought I was getting that part correct because we kind of went through that pretty extensively on that show. So next, the guys, they run up to the St. Mary's. Oh, before I get to this point, I just saw my note. Linda, don't we have a giveaway to do? If you're ready, I'll bring you up. Oh, there she is. Never mind.
We do.
We do. I had it written down here, giveaway, so we wouldn't forget this time like we did last week. All right, so we do have a giveaway. What are we giving away?
It's a choice of 3 things. There are 3 ornaments, and they have a choice.
Okay.
Those are the 3 ornaments with the Nova Scotia tartan on them, right?
Right.
Right.
One, yep. I'm not sure I'm going to remember what they all are. One was bagpipes.
One's bagpipes, a schooner, and something else.
Lighthouse and a schooner.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I might be able to grab a picture. Go ahead. But you can start the spin there.
I'm going to go ahead and spin, see if I can get it to focus.
Oh, there you go.
Pat Elliott. All right. Pat Elliott is now you get your choice, and I'm gonna let's see if I can copy image. Let's see if I can grab this thing here. I got the image. Let me see if I can switch this over real quick.
Now, is this another one of these deals, Linda, where you got to be here to win it?
Yes.
Okay, Pat, get your name up there quick.
Let's see. All right, here we go. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna grab this other. Let's see, share screen, entire screen.
Did we say hi to Deidre? I see Deidre there.
There they are. Those three right there.
There you go.
Right.
So you got your choice.
So, we need to know that Pat is here and which she would like.
I thought I seen her in here earlier.
Stand up, Pat.
Yeah. But those are pretty
And
cool.
if you guys want to talk about St. Mary's while we wait,
Yeah, we could do that.
then when you're done with St. Mary's, if we haven't heard from Pat, I will spin again.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So let's bring back up the other one. Now I got to redo this again here. Bear with me a moment. Stop. There we go. All right. And
There we go.
present.
Finder.
Okay. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Which is
So-
where? It's in Halifax, Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah. Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay. Not to be confused with Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
There,
Oh,
we'll
there's
beat that to
Pat.
death.
All
We'll
right.
beat that to death. Never to be mentioned again.
Yes. Never to be mentioned again. All right. Now, Pat chose the lighthouse. All right. So there you go. All right. So they go to the science building over there at St. Mary's, and they go over. You got Peter and Emma, and of course, Doug. And they go over and they hook up with Krista again, Christopher So, who's happy to see them. And they go over. Oops, I jumped ahead too far. And she, of course, takes some samples. I always get a little bit. I know that files are a very hard steel. My dad worked with files quite a bit. Doing filing saws and all the different things that he did with them. They are very, very hard steel, and the steel is going to break down and when you scrape it with a file before the actual file does. But I was watching as she takes those and she's using the file to get the little pieces of metal scraped off onto her sample plates. And I thought, man, I hope she doesn't get any bits of the file in there as well, because that's going to skew the numbers. But Krista's been doing this a very long time. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, they're using an electron microscope, right? So even if there's other pieces of stuff they don't want to see there, they could eliminate it and just zoom in on what they want to see.
Oh, that's Charles. Yeah, well, that was Charles, not Doug. Sorry, it was Charles.
Yeah, I was going to say. Anyway,
my eyes aren't working too good. Yeah, hey, there he is. Yeah. Charles. Sorry about that. Thank you, Cheryl. But anyway, she got those samples. They put it in. She went over with Sean Yang, and they put it in there. And Dr. Brousseau says that the bush scythe material had no manganese in it, and therefore it's pre-1840s. Then they test the iron piece from the well, the nail that they were calling it, and again had no manganese in it. And but they did find 0.7% of phosphorus in the item. And Dr. Brousseau tells the group that since the nail is headless and with its composition, she would date the item from the 1600s to late 1700s. So there you go. You've got a nail that was in a well. The well's been dated back to about 1100, and yet the nail 1600s to late 1700s. So that was pretty cool. So
it's
why?
Definitely old. Yep.
And and then they go over to the interpretive center, and this is where Emma gets an opportunity to explain to everyone about all of this. and gives them the information that she collected on it.
Just answer Kevin's question there. She has a scanning electron microscope, which they don't have in the research center.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. And I not being a person that understands these pieces of equipment all that well, it's obviously a better piece. But man, they drove all the way up there. But they also took those pieces with them of the scythe pieces.
Mm-hmm.
That I think I'm standing by Carmen 100% on that. That's exactly what it was, because he had a scythe leaning up against the wall right there, and he took it out, and you could see it clearly was the part that's attached to the wood handle of the scythe.
Yep.
It's that part, the blade.
It's a unique shape. Yeah, it's a unique shape.
Very unique shape.
Gonna have to give
a little piece on it.
Have to give the Carmen date that one. Yeah.
Carmen dated very well. So there you go. So and then before we get to the end here, I wanted to go back really quick here just for a moment. And somebody had brought up in the chat here, and I know it's gone quite a ways, but that's what I was thinking when I saw that nail, what they're calling a nail. And I know I shouldn't spend my time on this, but it still kind of bugs me. But when you see, I know Tom's laughing. Here he goes again.
Nailed it.
Nail it. Yep. When it has that little piece on the end, it almost seems like a leather tool, like you would use a leather tool to scrape and take a line out of a piece of leather, a line in it. And that's where it would have that little groove. That's what it was reminding me of, like that leather piece.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just carves a little groove in the leather to make a line on it. Anyways, I'm sorry. I had to go back there, didn't I?
Moving along.
Yeah. So there. Oh, there it is right there. So anyway, moving along. All right. So she showed that to everybody, and then they got a good look at it. And then they go back to the garden shaft at the end. Rick arrives at the garden shaft for an update. And Roger tells Rick that they are ready to hammer grab, and Rick says they are ready to see what comes out. And then they start to hammer grab down there. And I'm looking at this hammer grab, and I'm thinking to myself right off the bat, man, this thing is really small. It's a small hammer grab. You've seen that big 10-footer that they were using with the 10-foot caissons.
I was trying to figure out what the volume of that thing would hold. Doesn't look like it would even hold a yard, would it?
No, I don't know. I mean, it does go up inside it quite a bit when they let it drop into the to the dirt or the mud or whatever they're pulling up down there. It does go up inside quite a bit, but it seems like, man, it's gonna take an awful long time to hammer grab all that stuff out of there with that small, but it has to be a small hammer grab to fit down in there.
Yeah.
They just can't fit a bigger one in there at all. So they're kind of stuck with that. But oh wow, a scanning electron microscope runs about 750 to 900,000. Yeah, I don't think Marty's ready to write a check for that one.
Well, if they're only small, get two of them, right?
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
Christy said the same thing about the leather working tool. Yay, somebody agrees.
At least you didn't say it was a nail.
Yeah. Hey, Skinwalker Ranch is here. How you guys doing? Yeah. Yes, you could. You could use one of those. So one of the things that they were showing, and I wanted to show these pictures. I like to grab these when they start showing the pictures from next week's episode. And one of the folks in our Discord brought this up as well, and they were talking about lead. Well, they were talking about these other materials that they were finding, that they were kind of concentrating. Copper, zinc, I think was it copper and zinc and something else.
Tin, wasn't it?
Tin, yes, that they were looking for in the content of the water samples that they were bringing up. But somebody brought this up right here. E010. EO10. Now we haven't seen this yet. So
what's back there?
Yeah, and this is up on the, I would say this is up on the hillside on the back, on the north end of the garden shaft. Um,
It's marked the same as like C1 and those other type places, isn't it?
yeah,
They're using the same. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. EO
What's back there?
EO
Where's 10x? Where's 10x in relation to the garden
right here.
shaft? Oh, there it is up there. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm
So
not
it's
even
not
close. Okay.
actually between them. It's kind of over to the side a
Yeah,
little bit, to the west a little bit, but it's definitely straight north of the garden shaft, and they
just
they
up
punched
behind
a
the
hole,
rocks. Yeah, behind the
right,
rocks. Yeah.
and it got a yellow dot in it, and I can't see what it says right there. It's showing what the yellow ones, something gold. Is that gold in Wells yellow? It said that's a D right there. It looks like, and then IN Wells, and then it shows the yellow dot, and they found one in EO10.
Yeah, but wouldn't that gold dot be more inside the blob? If that's the representation for golden wells, there should be some of those gold dots inside the blob. There's some
I
on the
thought
edge,
so
but there's
too.
none in it. Yeah.
Right. But
But my
you see
question is
that.
why is tin and those other metals so important now?
Yeah, I don't know. But they did say that there was gold in the garden shaft, also. Um, someone needs to grab some drone footage. Yeah, I know, right? Um, yeah, we're still working on that, but we promised, we were asked, and again, I'll go back to that, but we were asked not to, at least while the guys stay away from that, being right over top of them. We were asked not to. We were seeing if we can get the okay to kind of stay over the water and looking at the island from the water.
Yeah,
Um,
and the way
out
things
of
are
respect.
now, right now, you don't want anything flying around anywhere, so nobody knows what it is.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want strange, unidentified objects flying around. But yeah, we were asked by the team, directly by the team, to not show the drone footage, while they're working and flying over top of them and stuff like that. It's out of respect for them that we've, not done that. We don't do that anymore. I loved it. It was awesome to look at. It was really, really cool. But then again, when you look at that drone footage and you're looking right down, you're like right over top of the crane looking down at the guys while they're working. That's not cool. It just isn't.
No.
And it felt kind of bad when we were looking, when we had it. But anyway, so that's why we're not doing it anymore. We're trying to get, like I said, permission to just go around the edges or something. Snoopy chasing the Red Baron. Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought I'd bring that up again. And also for next week, look how far down they are. So I don't know if these are 10, if it's 10 between these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They said they were going to go in 10-foot increments, like
Yeah.
for platforms, but how if they're putting one of those big structure beams every 5 feet, 8 feet.
Yeah, it has to
Goodness
be.
knows, right?
Right. It looks like to me like they're down about 25, 30 feet in that picture there, doesn't it?
They're down a ways.
They're down a ways. So they're making headway with that, with that hammer, that small hammer grab. But again, this is next week. Hey Jake, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you, Linda, for saying that. Yep, exactly right. We were asked by the fellowship not to do it, and so we're gonna abide by that, and we're not gonna
It's
do
a
it.
fair request.
Yep, by request. Yep.
Yep.
Next week's show also found this little thing here. Now I'm going to take you to another picture real quick. Oh, there's Rick. Look at that. I mean, he's down there. Next week, he's down in the I mean, that's got to make him the happiest man, in Nova
I wonder
Scotia.
if he even slept the night before.
I don't think so. Yeah, he was probably all jacked up on Dr. Pepper. Does that have caffeine in it, Dr. Pepper? Probably.
I don't know. Most of the soft drinks do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a happy camper getting down inside there, and I'm excited for him. I really am. He's been waiting for this for a long time to get down in there. To look around inside there. And something that they said when I watched it, there was a couple of different promos for next week that they talked about. And one of the promos shows the guys from Dumas are showing Rick down here He said this is historic, and they're looking at something on the wall in between the boards, between the big plank. These big planks are beams. They're looking at a piece of the wall of the tunnel, and the guy said this is historic. I couldn't really see exactly what it was,
No.
but I'm wondering, okay, what's historic? Oh, here it is. Here, sorry, I do have a picture of it. This right here, and he's
Looks like
talking
he's showing
about
him part of a shaft.
and that looks like concrete. I mean, look down here. I don't know. I mean,
Could be
what
some of that
exactly-
stuff could be some of that stuff that they were going to spray into to shut off the flow of water, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I can't wait till next week. This is really exciting. I'm really,
Could
yeah,
be they found something carved in the wood, right? If they found the
Maybe.
old, if they found the old, if they're on the old shaft or whatever, somebody could have carved something in there.
yeah, they carved their initials. Sir Francis Bacon.
Yeah, yeah. Kilroy was here.
Kilroy was here. Yes, exactly. Oh, the platforms are every 8-foot intervals. Yeah, somebody else said that too. Thank you. Yeah, 8-foot intervals. Going down into the shaft. But yeah, so man, this is so cool. I can't wait till next week. I've been waiting so long to see the guys actually get into the money pit or into the shaft. And then I can't wait till they get down to the bottom and we can see if it actually dies into if they can actually, they talked about one of the other shafts maybe going under this one. Maybe it ties into this one. They can't stop at 80 feet. They got to go further, in my opinion. You got to keep going until you hit bedrock.
Yeah, the only reason you don't go to any deeper than 80 feet is the evidence of that structure being a shaft disappears.
Right.
Right. Because,
UFO guy says concrete. It does look like concrete to me. And who would have done it in concrete? He said this is historic. I heard it say, the guy say that, so I don't know.
I remember one of the drill programs, they brought up something, and I'd have to go back and look up the dates on it now because I can't recall. But they brought up a substance. It was much deeper. That was like 180 to 200 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
One of the the old drill programs, and they brought some stuff up that was identified by Canada Cement as actually being an old form of concrete.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah. Dr. Pepper does have caffeine and a lot of sugar. So yeah, he was all jacked up on, but yeah, I mean, just to be down there, to be down inside there, he's been waiting for so long, to get down inside, and there he is. And I can't be happier for the guy, for Rick Lagina to finally be in there. And Marty, I don't know if Marty would ever go down in there, but Rick has no hesitation, but I wouldn't either. I'd be right down inside that thing.
Oh, you're talking about Rick. You're talking about Rick. You talk about a guy that hangs off a long reach excavator to go down and look at a hole, and while it's collapsing around him.
Yeah, in a long reach excavator that's actually undermining because the dirt's falling away from under it, and he's in the bucket going down a 50-foot hole. Yeah, that would be me too. I would do it though. I really would. So yeah, but I mean, this is just so cool. And like I said, I can be happier for Rick to finally be getting down inside there. It would have nice to have been able to see, of course, Dan would have been a little old to go down there, and Dan Hensky. I don't know, but I would still want to try to go down.
I see Henry said that's something that might be anhydrite. So I wonder if what they're looking at is where somebody chiseled their way through it or something. Somebody was using tools.
Wow, that's a good point. I wonder if it is. It does look like, Marilyn said it does look like cement and very solid. But yeah, so it's in between the boards there.
So if it's some sort of soft stone or the anhydrite that they actually had to chisel or drill through with using the old tools that they've been finding, that would be historic.
It would be very historic. And Robert said, yeah, even the Romans had some form of concrete. Yeah. So, man, interesting. We'll hopefully next week. Hopefully this isn't like 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. Hopefully this is next week, and we'll get to find out exactly what they're talking about right there, because it is truly historic. If that is some sort of a concrete or chiseled into anhydrite, like you said. Business back in the day. Yep. Yeah, very solid. Romans were master masons. Yep. So that's really cool. And then they also showed this right here, and you see, this is them getting ready to high five, and Gary was very excited about what they had found, and he said something about it's truly treasure. And I got a picture of it here. This is what he was holding in his hand when they said that. Now, I looked at this for a few minutes, and then it dawned on me what this might be. Remember that piece that I had the little clip on that I asked, what is this and why had we not seen it on the show before?
Yes.
I think that's this. And it's bigger than I actually thought. And the reason I say that is you see this piece right here that comes around that looks like it's broken off or it stops right there. See this little piece that comes around right here? And then you got another one around here and around the bottom. I don't know. I don't know if that's it or not. I really don't know for sure. And I'm guessing here, but I just saw this little piece that comes around right here with that, and they had it up on a, let me see. Whoops. Sorry. Let's see. I had a picture. They have it up on the screen, and it may not be that piece. It may be something else.
Could be
But they're all
something.
looking
Yeah.
at it right there. This is on the CT scan, of course, or not. I don't know, that curly thing. Yeah. So, man, I don't know. And is this all around here? This stuff in the background that's light gray. Is that some sort of a
Looks like almost like a brooch pattern or something. The way it's
a brooch pattern of something? Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, and it's got this stuff on the back of it. And is that actual like gemstones of some sort? I don't know. But it almost reminded me of that piece that I was talking about. Now, Celtic cross, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Whatever this is. And of course that's it right there. So I don't know what that is. This red thing. It's probably just a piece of vegetation of some sort that was sitting on it when he took it out of the ground. But
it's like it had some stuff growing through it over the years for sure.
Yeah. Some roots. You got roots sticking out over here and stuff. But yeah, pretty cool. I don't know. What's so what do you guys think that is? I don't know. On this circle. I saw what 1238 on the circle. Are you talking about the
Might be one of the measurements on the
in here? I don't know. Interesting. We'll see what they dug up next week's show. When I first saw that piece, though, I was thinking that it could very well be that that piece that we were looking at, that I was looking at a couple weeks ago, and I was wondering what it was. But now seeing that, I'm not so sure now because it really has a lot more twists to it, and the overall shape is not the same.
Were you thinking of the fiddlehead?
Yes.
We were talking about. Yeah. Yes. I don't. That doesn't remind me of it.
Yeah. Not when I see that picture.
Like the 3D picture. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It didn't. When I first saw that piece sticking out there, that's what I was thinking. But
yes, it did have that tubular type shape to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't see a picture of it. I was trying to find because I had grabbed that in that one episode, and I don't see it.
It was 4 or 5 different things in the exhibit, and this fiddlehead shaped brooch ornament, whatever you want to call it, was part of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be interesting to see what they come up with there.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, I still don't see it anyway, but yeah. So that's what I had. You guys. So what do you think? I mean, glad to see Dumas back on the job. Glad to see them digging. And now, I mean, we went from the water being just about, and the muck and everything being about 10 feet down in the hole. And now they got guys down there that are down 25 feet or 30 feet down in 1 week. So the hammer grab must be really working its way and getting down inside there. But and that's an awesome thing. I mean, I can't wait to see them get down there, inside the money pit. I think that's really cool. What do you think? Was that and then is that concrete on the wall? I mean, we got a lot to look forward to on the
Could
next
be.
show.
It could
Hydraulic
very well
cement.
be.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you guys in the chat think? Was this I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought it was a little bit of a filler. We got to hear from Brian. We'll see what all that
UFO,
pans out.
UFO guys. Tom, are you in Canada? Yes, I am. And UNB.
There it is.
That's how I know it's in New Brunswick.
Yeah. I think if they go below 80 feet, they will hit flood water. Oh yeah. I don't doubt that. The dirt looks likely loose. If just fill in the shaft, no large rocks or blockages. Correct. And that makes the digging easier for sure. East side of the island is starting to get interesting. Yes, it is.
Doug says, anything more on the well? Well, I hope they do. I hope they keep poking around down there. I think that well is going to be somehow connected to that wall.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Linda sent that piece over to me that I was trying to find the picture of. And I'll share it here real quick. This is the piece that I was looking for. That's what I was thinking it was when I first saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know now. But it doesn't look like in that image from the scanner, it doesn't look like that. The scanner picture looks more intricate and with everything more in a ball rather than all spread out and long like this. But you see this metal piece here, that's kind of what made me think of that. So yeah, let's see. So anyway, that's what that's all about. Thank you. All right. Well, folks, that's what I had for tonight. Tom, you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm good. Next week, I think our information, we didn't get exactly information overload this week.
Nope.
But I got a funny feeling next week is going to be different.
I have a feeling next week is going to be different. But I really appreciate everybody joining us tonight and coming up on the show. Don't forget tomorrow night. And for those of you, and I posted this out on our Facebook page today or the other day, but it's just a one-time thing. I know our the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond and Skinwalker Ranch Facebook page is not about Bigfoot. So I will not be talking about this there any longer. I just wanted to post that so I could let you folks know, the folks that are part of our Facebook page, which is almost 30,000 people. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to start talking about the Expedition Bigfoot and the cryptid connection. So I've been going through all the episodes of the 3 seasons so far of Bigfoot, Expedition Bigfoot, with Ronnie LeBlanc, Russell Accord, Dr. Mariah Mayer, and Bryce Johnson, and also Jeff Meldrum has been on there as well. And I got to talk to those folks when I was out in Vernal, Utah. So anyway, so Mike Owen kind of put me up to it. So we're going to start talking about Expedition Bigfoot. So if anybody is interested in that, join us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night will be the kickoff or the introductory episode. We're going to kind of talk about how the show's going to go and what we're digging into. So if anyone is interested, that's tomorrow night, 7:30 right here at J Free 906 for Expedition Bigfoot and the Cryptid Connection. And on Friday night at 7:30, we have a great lineup of folks coming. Donna McCauley, Gypsy Jules, Mark Hoover, who I've met here in Florida, metal detectorist, and also Matt Howell. Matt was involved in Cornwallis, looking at the cache of Cornwallis on Beyond Oak Island. He was the he was the guy that led the team out there to the river, and they were, diving in the river, and that's what a dangerous thing that is with all the tree branches and everything that's down in there. And so they were working that whole area. So Matt, and he's got his Gone Diggin' YouTube channel is called Gone Diggin'. And of course, Gypsy has hers, which is zero discrimination. And then she has that event coming up. And Donna McCauley, Donna had hers listed here. She had it on her name, but I've forgotten what it was. Linda, if you remember, I don't. Yeah, now I'm making Linda hop and try. I don't remember what it. Donna, if you're here, yeah, Donna. Well, that's right. Thank you. Donna will not be able to join us because of her family situation. That's right. She will not be here with us tomorrow night. So, so we got the three: Mark Hoover and Matt Howell and Gypsy Jules will be with us tomorrow night, and then we're going to kind of talk about treasure hunting and metal detecting and that kind of stuff. So, for those of you who are interested in that, please join us 7:30 on Friday night. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
So this is Friday night you're talking about, not Thursday night, right?
Yes, Friday night.
Okay.
Thursday night is the Bigfoot expedition, Bigfoot, and then Friday night is treasure hunting and metal detecting and all that kind of fun stuff going on. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then we'll try to keep this. So each Thursday night going forward now, we're going to be talking about, we'll kind of slowly cover episodes 1 or seasons 1 and 2 of Expedition Bigfoot a little bit and really dive into each episode of season 3. They've got their season 4 coming out pretty soon where they were in Alaska. So that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So we're going to be talking about all of that in the future. So anyway, give us a subscribe and like to the show and click that notification bell so you know right away when we bring out new content. And Tom, thank you as always. Linda,
Pleasure.
thank you very much for all the work you're doing. And Jan.
Hello to my brother and Grandma Ann. I just see him on there now. I better say hello.
Oh, yep. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Donna McCauley's is Metal Detecting Digging History. Metal Detecting Digging History, if you want to check out her stuff that she has going on. So there you go. Thank you, Linda, for getting that. Yeah, fun show. Thank you very much, folks, for being here with us tonight. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow night for some Expedition Bigfoot. So thanks, Tom. Thanks, Linda. We'll see you guys later. Have a great night.
Good night.